Tuesday.
Hey everybody, Finger Blaster from Team Devious Gaming here, and this is my in-depth review of the Technician for Hawken. I'm going to do a quick review, well I guess kind of a little bit of an in-depth review, but including like kind of a tutorial and tips and tricks, that kind of deal. So, what the Technician is, as you can read here, it's a close range repair specialist. It is a Type A light mech, meaning that it has less armor, but it moves a little faster. It's a tandem support vehicle specialized in focused ad hoc repair. As you can see, the secondary weapon, the weapon that's always equipped, is the Helix Repair Torch. And let's see, what else we got here? For the primary, you can switch between the Redox, which is a quick-firing projectile weapon. Reagents-infused chemical rounds cause enemies to take increased damage for a short duration, stacks up to 3 times. I find that not to be that effective because the weapon itself does not do that much damage, but if you are solely playing support and you don't want to kill anything, that might be something you want to do. But the other weapon is the Hawken's RPR. It's a rapid-fire sawed-off twin cannon nicknamed the Ripper for good reasons. That's what I go with because it has a higher damage, and when I need to be able to hold my own, I can with that. And the offensive item that I'm using personally, I find the EMP to be the best because you are a support class, so EMP is definitely great to support as you can shut down enemy mechs. So you just pop up over the guy that you're healing, launch on an EMP, hit your enemy. That's the best offensively for the Technician in my opinion. The defensive weapon would be the Repair Charge. It drops down a health orb just like a killed enemy, except it releases more health. So what you can do is if you're healing somebody and they are taking a lot of heat, you can have them stand still, or if they drop around the corner, you can drop this Repair Charge on them, or even use it for yourself. I found that to be better than the shield because I feel like you could get killed really easily with the shield. If somebody runs in there, you're just fucked. And the blockade I find kind of stupid because you can't go through it. There's other shit, but honestly, that is my personal opinion, the best for the Technician. I use the fire extinguisher, or not fire extinguisher, the extinguisher, because it's an automatic cooldown system when weapons overheat. And there are lots and lots of heating on this mech with your weapons. As far as offensive internal, I didn't really go for anything because you can get special weapon fire rate and I don't know. This is all kind of bullshit to me because I don't want extra weapon heating. I don't want to lose armor because it is a squishy mech, but I'll touch on that again in a second. As far as the defensive, I went with armor plus 3% all damage, minus 3% all damage received. Sacrifice a little bit of movement speed, but that small amount of movement speed is definitely worth the minus damage received. And then all this other bullshit, I feel like it wasn't actually a good trade, so I didn't put anything into it. Because you don't want to lose too much movement speed, and with that little bit that I already sacrificed, there's no point into any of these. And who cares about radar, and fucking I don't want to lose my boost because I need to be able to get in and out. Let's see, none of that shit matters. Here's my optimization so far. I'm level 18, but I'll tell you what I'm going into. I already went down the defensive a little ways to get decreased amount of heating caused by all weapons. I definitely wanted increased speed of dodging maneuvers, decreased damage taken from all weapons, that's a must. Reduced time to begin repair was kind of a bullshit points, and increased rate of repair was a bullshit point for me because with a mech, with the Technician mech, all the healing you're doing is going to come back and give you health, so you shouldn't be stopping that often to heal. So with that being said, I really just wanted to come down to the decreased amount of heat because like I said, there's a lot of heat that your weapons generate. So after I hit that, I come down here in the offensive. I did increase damage for all weapons. I don't know if that actually helps with like how much healing you're doing or not. Fuck it, I'll try it, whatever. I haven't noticed too much of a difference, maybe a little bit, but the main thing is I just want to decrease amount of heat by all weapons again in this side. So once I fill this up with one more point, then I'm just going to come out here and finish out my points in defensive, because, you know, it's a super squishy mech. But the big thing with heat is when you're using both weapons at the same time, healing doesn't cause as much heat, but definitely life siphoning causes a lot of heat. And I'll go into a little bit more of that in a minute. So you need that decreased heat, and you're a super squishy mech. You start with, I think, 550 armor. So you definitely need to be able to take less damage, because if you're out there and you're healing, people are going to find you and they're going to fucking target the technician, and you will get fucked fast. So you need to be able to get, you know, around and not die. Let's see. As far as the Helix Repair Torch, let's read the description here. It's a dual-mode, short-range tool that repairs allies or deconstructs enemies. Repairing allies or deconstructing enemies also repairs the user. Press middle mouse button to alternate modes. So what you're doing is it starts off with your repair torch, and as you're repairing, it also slightly heals you while you're repairing your teammates. Great thing about the repair, once you lock it onto them, once you aim it up on them and start soaking it onto them, it shoots out a beam. And that beam kind of follows them. Now you don't have to be pointing on them directly the entire time. As long as they're in kind of like your field of vision or in front of you somewhat, you will continue to heal them, but it is a short range. So you can actually you can be healing somebody that's like to your right slightly and be attacking somebody with your primary weapon. And then the deconstructor part, I call it the life siphoner. It has a bit further range. Same deal, once you lock it on, it's just snaking to them constantly. So if they jump over your head, if you go off your accuracy a little bit, no big deal, it's still going to keep hitting them. But when you're using that with the Hawken's RPR, you just overheat so fast. So you guys got to make sure you're really careful with that, because you don't do a lot of damage, and you really need to depend on like your equipment to help you out. So make sure you're using that EMP to shut them down. Drop a health orb if you need to back out. Just drop it like behind a corner that you're ducking in and out of when you're firing on somebody, and try to soak it up that way. Like I said, you don't do a lot of damage. Even with the Hawkins RPR, as you see, that's a 2-bar damage. It has a good rate of fire, which is always good for that low amount of damage. It helps out, but you don't do a lot of damage. You're not a damage mech. Though you can go on kill streaks and you can go kill tear on people, you're not always every match going to be #1 on kills. It's going to be rare. So make sure when you're working with this mech, you are staying behind your group, being that you are a squishy mech and you are support. You're not a frontline mech. You shouldn't be all the way up front, especially you're type A light, so you have less armor. You need to be behind them, healing them. So if you are any good at playing Hawken, if your team's any good at playing Hawken, you are probably running as a group. So try to stay behind your group. Try to use them as basically meat shields. Put them up front, let them absorb the damage, and you just kind of stay back and heal. And if you're going group to group and there's a big firefight, try to stay back behind the corners and stuff and repair from behind the corners, and maybe slide around back and forth and heal them. Remember, when you're thrusting forward, you cannot use your weapons. So do not thrust forward when you're healing somebody and you're in a clutch situation. You have to get good at using your strafe. When you strafe thrust, you can still heal. So you need to be able to turn your mech so that they're slightly off to your side and strafe towards them, and that'll help close some distance and keep them in range. One thing you'll have a problem with is your teammates trying to thrust forward and chase down enemies or get out of the way or something, and you can't keep up and heal. So make sure if you have somebody that you're working with, they know not to get too far away from you. If you watch the video with me and Darren, he knows for the most part, and we are able to communicate, and he stays right near me when we're doing that kind of stuff. But like I said, make sure you're healing all your team. I noticed there's like kind of a new UI out with the last fix. Or yeah, new UI, and it kind of shows bars above their heads now instead of just like, what do you call it, segmented bars now instead of just a straight bar, and you're able to kind of tell where everybody's at on their health a little bit better. And when you're using the technician, it kind of highlights your target when you're over them on who you're going to heal. So make sure you're just kind of watching out for who's taking the most damage. Try to heal up your light mechs first, because those are the guys that are going to be doing the most damage usually, and they're going to get the most kills, and you'll get the most assist points off those guys. Not to mention they're going to take the most damage quickly, and they're going to die quick. So make sure you're healing them up. Same with, you know, go down the line. After you get your light mechs that are up close, like, what you call them, the berserkers and your shit like that, your infiltrators, your type A lights that are on the front line. Get them healed up, and then start in on your type B mechs, your little bit bigger ones, and then your C class should be able to handle their own, but usually since they are so big and bulky, the other team usually kind of focus fires on those big mechs, so sometimes it's actually harder to keep them alive than it is to keep a type A alive. One thing that everybody is really hating on with the technician is their survivability, which I don't understand. I feel like I've gotten really good using this mech, and yeah, you can survive if you're doing it right and if you're staying behind targets and they're soaking up damage, but as soon as you go one-on-one with somebody, it's going to be hard to live. You really got to use your equipment because of how squishy they are, and because they don't put out that much damage, and because they overheat so goddamn fast. It's really hard to take people down. So I don't know what the big deal is with that. And then people are also bitching about the points. I could see that, because if you are playing the mech right and you're healing all your team and you're getting points for your actual healing that you're doing, and then you get assist points on top of who they kill, you get points for healing that person. You can rank up a lot of points if you play it right, and especially if you're out peppering people, or you take down a couple mechs that are low on health and you kind of, you know, work them that way while you're healing. You could probably top out first place with the least amount of kills. I've done it. Hell, I've topped out first place with 0 kills before. But you really, they could probably reduce it to 80% of the points that they receive right now, and it'd be a little bit better balanced. But for the most part, the actual mech as a whole is very balanced. You know, obviously you excel at healing because you are the only healing class, but you don't excel really at anything else. Your survivability isn't that great because you're a squishy little bitch. You cannot out-heal the damage that you're receiving if you're going up against somebody that remotely knows how to play. So if you're using a life siphon on somebody, you cannot just sit there and tank out their damage. I've seen people bitch about that on the forums and shit. And like I said, it's super hard to go one-on-one with people. You got to really be able to use your maneuvering, being a type A mech. So make sure you're using your strafing and everything like that. Don't be thrusting forward too much because you lose the ability to use your weapons. So just try to outmaneuver and outflank people, get up behind people if you're going to use this mech offensively, but your best bet would be really do both. I mean, work with a couple, like a person or two on your team, and just flank the other team and knock some people out and heal also. You got to get good at switching back and forth between your life siphon and your healing ray. And I mean, that's really about it. Make sure if you're hovering, you're over top of them, and you know, you're not off to the side, or else that makes you an easy target. Make sure if you're getting locked on, you get behind the corner. Just same with every mech, but just remember this one's really delicate and it's hard to tank out damage. But as a whole, I feel like this is actually an extremely well balanced mech for what it is. They could have really fucked it up and made it really unbalanced, but they made it the perfect amount of healing, the perfect amount of life siphoning, and just a really, it's not a mech that's made for damage, and you can tell that when you're actually using it. They could reduce the points, like I said, how many points you're getting, and it would be alright, but for the most part, it's a very well balanced mech. And I definitely think, since I know this week it's on, or the next 2 weeks or whatever, it's on the tryout, so everybody should try this mech out definitely and give it a try. And even if you got the points, get it if you like playing support. If you don't mind kind of staying in the mid line and not the front line and repairing people. I enjoy battle healing or whatever you call it. So It's cool with me. So I really like it. I hope you guys like it. If you're already playing it, make sure you leave some comments down there on what you think of the Technician, and I'll get back to you. Maybe we can shoot around some ideas on what's wrong with the Technician. Let me know what you guys think, what's wrong with it. Let me know if you think that it's balanced or not. Make sure you hit the like button. That would be awesome if you guys could do that. And hit the sub. And I will see you guys later. Peace.